Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you could please welcome Clifford Cardinal.
I would like to thank you, the people, for listening to Tony. I'd like to thank all the people that are here this time of the day, and the pipe ceremony that was done. I say hi, hi. Tony approached me straight out of after I finished my schooling in medicine. I had accepted a job in Atlanta, and I was prepared to go, and I was doing a presentation for the old people. At that time, there was a lot of work, a lot of talk about cloning. But there was one thing missing in the Human Genome Project that I was working for at the time. There's one band in Alberta refused to surrender their blood, and because of that, they couldn't complete the project. It was a $3 billion project. So while I was presenting and hoping to get the samples, this guy approached me. That's the first time I talked to him. I heard about him through hockey. And I couldn't say no because he bequeathed it with tobacco and cloth. And so I gave up my life, my career, all my schooling, just for water. At that time, Saddle Lake was going through boil water advisory, and right away I connected with Dr. Suzuki to come help me out. It looked so impossible, how Saddle Lake looked. Only the bottom 10% of the lake had oxygen. There was no fish. People couldn't fish. Ice couldn't freeze. That's how bad the water was. So in a matter of a few years, with the right approach, with then Minister Jim Prentice, me, Tony, and two elders, without support of the chief, then we were able to get dollars for Saddle Lake, the plant that you see now. And I had refused to accept acknowledgement of being part of it because I had received tobacco. To me, tobacco is still sacred. It's like your prayer in the morning. How serious do you live your prayer? That is how serious we work with water. It's not just praying on Sundays or forgetting the fact that we're Cree. the Cree values, as Jim Potato from Onion Lake told me, I wanted to learn the natural laws. And Wayne, the late Wayne Roan, rest his soul, had told me, he said, there is elders that will talk. He said, I'm not sure I can teach you. So it happened that I met Wapchus from Onion Lake in the Sundance. He was putting a Sundance, and he asked me to sit with the old people. I was 18. And during the 4 days, I asked them to tell me, teach me, what are the natural laws, nature's laws. And the first one he said, Sagituan. And he said, Kinstotin, do you understand? Do you understand love, what it means? I said, yeah, I do. And then number two, he said, is we took a matuin to help each other from here, from the heart. He said, Kinstotin, do you understand? I thought I did. And number three was the hard one. That's Igay Sawanagimo. These were not laws. By the time the third one came, these were not laws. These were how a person ought to live. Not like the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill, then forever you're judged. But my point here is, when we become in a position of power, we forget our people. When we have some authority, we forget the ones that are struggling in their jobs just to stay afloat. Now, I believe I have the right to talk because I've lived for 6 decades. And with Cardinal mountain water, it's not named after me. It's named after Mount Cardinal. But many people have said that I have a huge ego, that I named a company after myself. My point again is so, I'll use the ammonia word, poignant. It's very poignant. It's there. It stands out. It's vivid. It's like a lucid dream, a dream that you remember. But Cardinal Mountain Water, Tony alluded to something, Africa. He was offered millions. He was offered millions not just one, to go work there. And the old people that we still go to for advice told them, Kaya, kia no min toitama. Our people need this. There's 160 boil water advisories in Canada. Last year, the 5 plants INAG built, not one of them passed the tests. And typical, still, our chiefs go to that company. And somewhere here in the agenda, I seen the mission for our people, to support our people that are trying to initiate some kind of independence, economic independence. Well, we will never achieve that if we do not support those people. We would rather support. There's 2 stores. Piagnihio, the other one is white. We'd rather go to that store that is owned by a non-indigenous person. We've learned that from colonization. So along with the water we produce, what it does is it produces in the children, grade 1, 2, that's the only proof we have. Grade 1 and 2. Their provincial marks are higher than other schools because there's no chlorine there. It's wiped out. Chlorine enters the brain. It enters the woman when they become pregnant. It's in the placenta. And we have one of the highest rates of stillborn babies because of chlorine. And INAC insists, except for one province, BC. All the chiefs there got together, agreed there'd be no more chlorine. They listened to their indigenous scholars, but it seems like it's going to take forever to listen as we continue to accept European-made water plants. All those names that are attached to, like nanofiltration, ultrafiltration, UV filtration, they're all the same design. All the same design. And the only thing that makes us different is the water, the particle that we use to remove most of the contamination. And according to the tests, it's not just about 100, it's 100%. We examined the water molecule. Inside the water molecule are 2 hydrogen isotopes, and they're moving around. The first live water molecule ever since God created water. And this knowledge comes from Salt Lake. Late Gordon Steiner, I gave him tobacco And with a simple question, what did our people use when they were following the buffalo? What did they drink? And he said, run to the store before it closes, I'll tell you. So that's his knowledge. And we owe him so much. We owe him so much. We have no way to thank him except when we see him, when our time comes. With that, I say, aye for listening. Thank you very much. Aye. God bless. God bless.